Have you ever wondered if science could prove that prayer actually works? It's a fascinating question that sits right at the intersection of faith and empirical evidence. For decades, researchers have tried to figure this out, specifically looking at intercessory prayer, that is, praying for others, often from a distance. The core idea was to see if praying for sick patients could have a measurable positive impact on their recovery. Imagine a huge, controlled experiment. One group of patients receives prayers from strangers, and another group doesn't. Scientists would then track recovery rates, complications, and survival to see if there's a statistical difference. Several major studies, some even funded by foundations interested in bridging science and spirituality, have tackled this head-on. They used rigorous, double-blind methods, meaning neither the patients nor their doctors knew who was being prayed for. This is the gold standard for scientific research, designed to eliminate any bias. So what did they find? Well, this is where it gets complicated and, for some, a little disappointing. Across the board, these large-scale studies failed to find any conclusive evidence that distant intercessory prayer had a physical effect on healing. Patients who were prayed for didn't recover faster or have fewer complications than those in the control groups. One of the most famous and comprehensive studies was the STEP project, published in 2006. It focused on cardiac bypass patients and reached a clear conclusion. Prayer itself had no discernible effect on their recovery. But here's a fascinating twist from that same study. They had a third group, patients who knew they were being prayed for. Surprisingly, this group actually experienced a higher rate of complications. The researchers suggested this might be due to performance anxiety. Knowing that your condition is serious enough to warrant special prayers could actually create more stress, counteracting any potential positive effect. This finding highlights just how complex the human mind and the nature of belief really are. This lack of hard data has led many to a critical realization. Perhaps we're trying to measure the unmeasurable. Critics and believers alike point out that prayer isn't a tea like a drug or a medical procedure that you can test in a lab. For many, prayer is about communion, spiritual connection, and finding inner peace and comfort. It's a deeply personal experience, not a celestial vending machine where you put in a prayer and get out a specific result. Trying to force it into a scientific box might miss the entire point. Ultimately, science hasn't proven that prayer works in the way we can prove gravity exists. The evidence suggests its power doesn't operate as an external, measurable force. Instead, its value seems to lie in the realm of faith, personal solace, and the psychological comfort it provides to the person praying, and sometimes to the person being prayed for. The conversation continues, reminding us that some of life's deepest questions may not have simple scientific answers.